Very good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back to history class. In this class, we will discuss about the new chapter, Independence and Partition of India. According to the reduced syllabus, this year you will have to focus on the Mountbatten Plan, includes classes and its acceptance, and the Indian Independence Act of 1947, only classes. So you need not focus on Cabinet Mission Plan and its classes is not required, and events that led to the Cabinet Mission, all these concepts are not important. Just you have to concentrate on Mountbatten Plan, that is classes mentioned in the Mountbatten's plan and its acceptance. Why did we accepted the Mountbatten's plan and Indian Independence Act of 1947 classes. Though it is not important to know the events led to the cabinet mission and as well as its classes, before that I would like to give you a small introduction about this. Why was the Mountbatten's plan? Lord Mountbatten arrived in India, and what were the causes which led to arrival of Mountbatten to India, and what did he mention proposed in his plan? All these things we will discuss. Before that, I would give to a small introduction. With the end of the Second World War in April 1945, India's freedom struggle entered a new phase. This phase was an extremely difficult and uneasy one. The memories of serious disturbances during the Quit India movement were still fresh in India, as already you have learnt in the previous concept, that is the Quit India movement and its memories still fresh. And unfortunately, the failure of the INA was an unfortunate end to a heroic phase. But after 1942, this Quit India movement as well as the failure of the INA, after that we could not find any great heroes to lead the movement. But still, and as a result, the Muslim League had stepped up its demand for partition of their own country as Pakistan. It was in this tense situation that the Viceroy Lord Wavell, who succeeded Lord Linlithgow in October 1943, took a number of measures to ease the situation. But whatever it may be, Lord Wavell, the Viceroy, who had taken the some number of measures, all have got failed. Our Indians were stick on with the concept of Quit India as well as Pakistan. Muslims were set up a demand for the partition. So all these causes which led to the formation of a cabinet mission. During that time, cabinet mission was sent to India. Finally, the Britishers thought that it almost their position, their status, their position is going to be an end in India. So that by thinking this in the mind, Clement Attlee, the new British Prime Minister, declared in the House of Commons on February. House of Commons was one of the House of Britain Parliament, my dear students. As we have in Indian Parliament two houses, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, even House of Commons was one of the House of Britain Parliament. He declared in the House of Commons on February 19, 1946 that a cabinet mission would be sent to India to facilitate the process of transfer of power. What does it mean? Now they had decided to transfer the powers completely to our Indians. So, but before that, since we were being ruled for around 200 years by the Britishers under their colonies, our Indian rulers did not have any idea about administration and all, so that he wanted to set up a new constituent assembly. He wanted to frame ourselves a new constituent assembly, and to frame this constituent assembly as well as to frame our own constitution, he had sent cabinet mission. The cabinet mission arrived in India in 1946. Who were the members of, with the three members, who were the members of cabinet mission? Patty Clarence, the Secretary of State, Sir Stafford Cripps, President of the Board of Trade, and A.V. Alexander, the First Lord of Admiralty. So, with these three members, cabinet mission had been sent to India. and many classes were mentioned in that cabinet mission plan. Okay, for example, federal union or powers of the union, provincial autonomy, grouping of provinces, and formation of a constituent assembly, representation of minorities, formation of an interim government, freedom to join the Commonwealth. Commonwealth was the name of the Britain Parliament. We have the after transferring the powers, still if we want we can join the Britain Parliament, that is Commonwealth, and next British Commonwealth, or and transfer of power. And one more important class which was mentioned in the cabinet mission, I would like to tell you that formation of an interim government. They told that interim government means a temporary government they will form till we get the independence and we start to rule rule ourselves. So till then a new with a few members, they will form an interim government, that is a temporary government. An interim government would be formed at the center with 14 members. For the time being, the viceroy would reconstitute his executive council consisting of representatives of all communities. So with 14 members, the viceroy can run the interim government. These 14 members are the representatives of from all communities in India, from all the communities. So that is just a temporary government they will form. So some of the plans, some of the classes which were mentioned, like formation of new constituent assembly or representation of minorities, and provincial autonomy, transfer of powers, formation of a temporary government. By seeing all these classes, our Indians felt that we can accept the plan, cabinet mission we will accept. So many of the communities, especially the major two Hindus and Muslims, accepted the cabinet mission, and the Muslim League especially asked Wavell the viceroy to constitute compulsory an interim government. Then after that, Lord Mountbatten had been replaced by Lord Wavell had been replaced by Lord Mountbatten. Lord Mountbatten assumed the office of the Viceroy and Governor General in 1947. So here Lord Mountbatten had been sent in place of Lord Wavell for the purpose of taking necessary steps for the transfer of power to the Indians. Lord Wavell was recalled and Lord Mountbatten was appointed by new Viceroy. So, Lord Mountbatten assumed the office of the Viceroy and Governor General in 1947. So, very important question can be asked. Who was the last Viceroy and first Governor General of independent India? Lord Mountbatten. He was the last Viceroy as well as first Governor General of independent India. Who was the first Governor General, first and last Indian Governor General of independent India means it is C. Rajagopalachari. That later on we will discuss about that concept. Anyhow, very important question, my dear students, please do learn. Lord Mountbatten was the last Viceroy and first Governor General of independent India. His immediate task was to restore peace among the two warring sections, that is the Congress and the League, both in his executive council and in the country at large. So in the executive council, that is which was formed as a smaller interim government, temporary government, in that also he had to maintain the peace and restore the peace between these two communities, especially warring sections, the Hindus and the Congress and the Muslim League. At a larger section in the country also he had to maintain the peace. That was the task in front of him when he had arrived India. So, with Mountbatten put his plan for the partition of India before the big seven leaders, Nehru, Patel, Kripalani, Jinnah, then Liaquat, Nistar and Baldev Singh. The Congress accepted the plan and Jinnah undertook to do his utmost to make the plan work. The plan was announced on June 3, 1947. On the same day, Gandhi said, "I repeat that the division of India can only do harm to the country's future." But still, Gandhiji was stick on with the concept of the partition would harm the country's future. Anyhow, finally, in Mountbatten's plan also, he had first class which he had mentioned was partition. the country would be divided into two dominions, that is India and Pakistan. What were the clauses mentioned in the Mountbatten's plan? Let us discuss. The first and foremost point was, clause was partition, that is country would be divided into two dominions, that is India and Pakistan. They are going to divide into two dominion states. Next, relations between these two new dominion states, maybe it was for the two dominion states to decide them for themselves. It was given to themselves what relations they would have with the British Commonwealth and with each other. That is up to them. After dividing, after partitioning these two dominion states, whether they can continue the relationships with the British Commonwealth or the relationships they may continue with each other, that is left up to them. Next, third clause mentioned in the Mountbatten's plan was a boundary commission. The plan provided for the creation of a boundary commission to settle the boundaries of the two dominions in case partition was decided upon. Next, fourth clause, the princely states. As regards the princely states, now the treaties with them would come to an end. They would be free to associate themselves with either of the dominions or to remain independent. Now princely states, if they want to join either of both the dominion states, or they would remain, if they wanted to remain the princely states, if they wanted to remain independent and they wanted to rule themselves separately independently, means they could remain the princely states. Next, Bengal and Punjab. The partition of Bengal and Punjab was proposed provided that the legislative assemblies of the two provinces decided in favor of partition as their wish. That also had been given. Bengal and Punjab, wherever they want to join, they could join in favor of their partition. It was given up to them. Next, Sindh. The legislative assembly of Sindh was to take its own decision at a special meeting whether to join either India or to join with Pakistan. Next, Northwest Frontier Province, that is a plebiscite was to be held. Plebiscite means here also the same thing, that is a meeting was to be held in the Northwest Frontier Province to ascertain whether the people wanted to join India or Pakistan. This also, a plebiscite means calling all the people for the meeting and to be held in the Northwest Frontier Province to ascertain whether the people wanted to join India or Pakistan. It was left up to them. Next, the district of Sylhet. The Muslim majority district of Sylhet, which was to decide by referendum whether it would join East Bengal or remain in Assam. Actually, Assam, the district of Sylhet was in Assam. So now this district, whether it wanted to join after the partition, if it wanted to join in the East Bengal, it could join, or else if it wanted to remain in the Assam itself, means it can remain. Next, Constituent Assembly. The very important clause which was mentioned, of course, in the cabinet mission as well as even in the Lord Mountbatten's plan also. The existing Constituent Assembly would continue to work, which was mentioned. Constituent Assembly was suggested by cabinet mission and they started to work from December 9th, 1946. Our leaders, Constituent Assembly members, started to work on that. They framed a Constituent Assembly. I had explained you have been learned in the 9th standard itself the framers of the constitution as well as members of Constituent Assembly, composition of Constituent Assembly, all these things you had learned, my dear. It was one of the clause which was suggested by cabinet mission to frame our own constitution, Constituent Assembly. It had been started to work and it continued to work, but the constitution framed by it would not apply to Pakistan. A separate Constituent Assembly would be constituted for those parts of India which decided in favor of partition. Whoever wanted to be partition, for them a separate constitution can be framed. But the already which has been existed, that Constituent Assembly continuing to work, continuation with its work. Next, transfer of power. Very important class. The plan ended with a declaration that the transfer of power would take place not in June 1948 but much earlier than that. Actually, they had decided to transfer the powers completely to our Indians in the month of June 1948. But now, because of these circumstances, Mountbatten declared that he wanted to transfer the powers much earlier than June 1948. The British Parliament would pass an act for the transfer of power before August 15th, 1947, and it had been accepted. Mountbatten's plan had been accepted by many of our leaders. What were the causes which made them to accept the Mountbatten's plan? Very important, my dear. Causes is important as well as acceptance also important. Why was this accepted by all the communities? First one, the large-scale communal riots that engulfed the whole country convinced all that only solution to the communal problem lay in the partition of India. So they could see everywhere, in all around the country, everywhere, most parts of the country, the communal riots were going on. So due to that, there were many fights amongst the communities, so that they found that only solution to solve these problems, to stop the communal riots in India, in country, that is the partition, was the only solution. In the words of Sardar Patel, refusal of the demand for Pakistan will amount to dividing the country into many Pakistans. If we refuse to divide the Pakistan, and refusal of the demand for the Pakistan, if we refuse for the demand of Pakistan, in future, very near future, there would be a problem of the country may break into many Pakistans. So that now the one and only solution is partition. For that, they accepted into two dominions, that is India and Pakistan. So which was mentioned in the Mountbatten's plan. They accepted the plan. Next, second one, the League had joined the interim government to obstruct and not to cooperate. As I have told that in the cabinet mission, one of the clause was they will form interim government, which was a temporary government with 14 members as the representatives of all communities, and Viceroy, the time being the Viceroy would lead the interim government. But here the Muslim League had joined the interim government not to cooperate, but they wanted to obstruct all the government always in its functioning. So by seeing this situation, our leaders thought that it is very difficult to continue further by joining with the Muslim League as well as a part of Pakistan as a part of India. So experience of working with the League had convinced the Congress that it could not have a joint administration with the League. It is very difficult. I'm sorry, in the words of so they found that it is very difficult just in the interim government, in the temporary government with the 14 members, the Viceroy was leading the government, running the government and administration. During that time itself, our Congress found that it is very difficult to work together with the League. So administration, a joint administration was very difficult. So that they accepted the plan which was mentioned as partition of Pakistan. Next, third one, the only alternative to partition was a federation with a weak center. So, our Indian leaders thought that a smaller India with a strong central authority was better than a bigger state with a weak center. They found here, joining with the Muslim League and some of the other communities itself, they found it was very difficult to run the administration as well as the central authority to run. So now if it would be divided, it will be easier to run because of according to their own wishes. So here they found that a smaller India with a strong central authority was better than a bigger state with a weak center. Next point, any further continuation of British rule would mean a greater calamity for India. The British were instigating the rulers of the Indian states to remain independent. Hence, partition was the price for immediate independence. Next point which was accepted, for what cause it was accepted the Mountbatten was, means the leaders felt that further delay in the transfer of power could find India in the midst of civil war. There may be, you know what is meant by civil war? Within a country, a war between inside the country between the groups of communities or some groups of people. So it may lead to the civil war. So next, the leaders felt that partition would rid the constitution of separate electorates and other undemocratic procedures. India could then evolve a truly secular and democratic polity. So because of these reasons, our Indian leaders had accepted the Mountbatten's plan, and finally it came into force.